Good day, everyone. Today, I'll be reporting about the good life based on Aristotle nicomachean ethics. Let's explore what Aristotle meant by the good life and how it applies to us today. Okay, let's start. So next page, Nicomachean ethics and modern concepts. So anyways, guys, so this is Aristotle that picture I presented. So that's Aristotle. So I know guys, sa kamo tanan akong classmate kay kabaw na jud mo og unsa jud ni ang the good life kay na agian na rabat tani nga topic kang na agian na tani nga topic pag first year, pag second sem nato sa first year. Yes, so ako na lang sa digi kuan pod kay para mabalik pod og kanang kuan ba. So this one that picture is Aristotle. So Aristotle is an important ancient Greek philosopher whose work spans from natural philosophy to logic and political theory. Attempted to explain what the good is, his definition may be useful in our pursuit of the truth. So in Nicomachean Ethics, Aristotle stated that all humans' activities aim at some good. Every art and human inquiry and similarly, every action and pursuit is thought to aim at some good, and for the reason to good has been rightly declared as that at which all things aim. So si Aristotle Aristotle was one of the greatest philosophers of ancient Greece. So his work covered science, politics, logic, and also ethics. So his book called Nicomachean Ethics. So kaning Nicomachean Ethics guys kay mao din ni siya ang libro nga iyang gihimo ni Aristotle. So he said that all humans activities aim at some good. So whether we are studying, resting, or kanang working, sa kanid good tanan, all of these actions are kanang mga directed towards achieving something good. Okay. So next slide. So everyone is moving towards the good. So thus completing one's studies, training for sport, or taking a rest is good. The good is expressed and manifested in many various ways for a different person and circumstances. So the good life, however, is more than this countless expression of what is good. It is characterized by happiness that springs from living well and doing well. So si Aristotle ka napod siya gi-state so that both the many and cultivated call it happiness, and suppose that living well and doing well are the same as being happy. So sa kaninga slide guys kay there are different expression of good. So nasa gyud mga lahi-lahi gud nga mga expression og unsa jud na siya ang good. So and also different people kanang express the good in different ways. So for for a student, finishing studies is good. Unya for an athlete naman kay kanang training hard is good. So for others naman kay resting is also good. Pero kang Aristotle kay nag-ingon pud siya nga the good life is kanang more than kanang kuan gali siya more than just these small goods. So it is a life filled with happiness that comes from living well and doing well. So next slide is the eudaimonia, this one. So the ancient Greek, the concept of living well and doing well is as eudaimonia. So the word came from the Greek word eu, meaning the good, and the daimon, meaning the spirit. So taken together, it is generally refers to the good life, which is marked by happiness and excellence. It is flourishing filled with meaningful endeavor that empower the human person to be that best version of himself or herself. So sa kaning nga slide guys, so the ancient Greek called the happiness which is the eudaimonia. So it is comes from the word eio. Ang pasabot sa eio guys, it is the good, means the good. And then the daimon means the spirit. So unsa ra jud to ang pasabot sa eio meaning the good. Unya ang daimon ang spirit. So this is not just temporary pleasure guys, but a flourishing life. It is becoming the best version of ourselves. And also whether as a student who studies well or as an athlete who strives to excel. Next slide. So according to Aristotle, happiness is the ultimate end of action. I mean the human action. It is the which people pursue for its sake, financial stability for one's family, the power achieved from winning the elections, or the harmony and peace as a reward for taking care of the environment. All of these and more are pursued for the sake of happiness. So, para ka Aristotle guys, kay happiness is the ultimate goal of our life. So everything sa tanan natong gibuhat, everything we do kanang like earning money, seeking power or promoting peace is done for the sake of happiness. So for the sake of happiness ra gud na siya. So but nana siya kanang kuan si happiness na nana siya kanang si Aristotle nana siya gi-state this one. So now such a thing as happiness above all else is held to be for this we chose always for itself and never for the sake of something else, but honor, pleasure, reason, and every virtue we chose ended for themselves, but we chose them also for the sake of happiness. Judging by means of them we shall be happy or happiness on them. On the other hand, no one chooses for anything other than itself. So para kay kanang kuan jud ka Aristo, pero ang para kay Aristotle man jud kay ang happiness but happiness is choosing itself for no other reason, because it is the final end matud pa niya. So the thing nga ato ang kanang the thing that we all want kay para ra gud ni for our own sake raman jud. So mana iya pasabot. Next slide. So happiness defines a good life. This happiness, however, is not kind that comes from sensate pleasure. It is which means comes from living of a life of virtue, a life of excellence, manifested from the personal to the global scale. So Aristotle stated this one. He also stated that it is the activities that express virtue that control happiness, and the contrary activities that control its contrary. So this one, so ang tinuod jud ko no, so ang iya pasabot ni Aristotle jud kay ang tinuod jud ko ng happiness kay dili ra makita sa kadato or sa power or pleasure alone. So makita siya, it comes from a living of virtue. So virtue means the excellence. So not just kanang dili ra kay makita siya sa skills nato, but also in our moral character. So when we act with virtue, we bring health, peace, and harmony to ourselves and others. So napod din siya gikuan diri kanang for example is kanang making sure that avoids sugary and processed foods to keep healthy is an activity that express virtue. Resulting health adds to one's well-being and happiness. Another example is taking care of the environment through proper waste management, which result in a environment, and adds to people's well-being and happiness. This virtuous action requires discipline and practice. On other hand, activities contrary to virtue are those which do not result in happiness. The lack of discipline in eating healthful food eventually makes one sick. The lack of concern for the environment destroy the earth we live in. Thus, disregard for virtuous action, especially for the sake of the convenience and gratification, does not contribute to happiness. The good life is marked by happiness brought about by virtuous human actions and decision that affects individual self and the greater community. It is characterized by a life of flourishing of oneself and of others. The good life does not happen in a bubble where only one person is flourishing, others have to be in it too. So here are some example. So when we eating healthy food, kanang syempre it shows kanang discipline and kanang leads well-being. So napadjud to siya. So napatoy ka ng ako gistorya. So proper waste management. So syempre proper waste management. So when we say kanang waste management, so it shows concern for the environment. When we say proper waste management, it shows the concern for the environment and benefits for everyone. Because on other hand, action against kanang virtue, like kanang nanubraan na ato ang pagkaon sa kanang junk food nya, kanang or neglecting the environment, kay ang result man jud niya ang result man jud niya kay kanang syempre kanang mukaon magud kanang mga junk food, kanang like junk food kanang kanang dili maayo sa ato ang panglawas, kay syempre magkasakit jud ta nya also it is distraction and also unhappiness. So later on, guys, I will present the That's Sugar Films 2014, pero unya lang sa ako sa ningtiwasan ang kaninga report. So next slide is virtue plays a significant role in the living and attainment of the good life. It is constant practice of the good, no matter how difficult the circumstances may be. Virtue is the excellence of character that empowers one to do and be good. Such virtue is cultivated with habit and discipline, as it is not a one-time deed but a constant and consistent series of actions. Everyone has the capacity within himself or herself to be good, but he or she also has to be disciplined to make a habit of exercising the good. So I know, guys, virtue is one of the very important in living the good life. Dili lang pud kay kanang it is not just a one-time act, but nahabit man jud nato. So we must practice capacity. We must practice constantly. So even though our life is too hard, para sa ako, I know my life is too hard because I am a mom and a student, but also I know that virtue gives us strength to do good. So according to Aristotle, Aristotle, he believed that kita ninyong tanan natay tagsa-tagsa ninyo, kita ninyong tanan na jud tay tagsa-tagsa ninyo nga capacity for virtue, but it takes discipline and practice to make it habit. So next slide. So Aristotle stated this one, guys: virtue then being of two kinds, which are intellectual virtue and moral virtue. So Aristotle explained that there are two kinds of virtue. Unsa ra jud to? Intellectual virtue and moral virtue. So when we say intellectual virtue, it is the main owes its birth and growth to teaching, for which reason it is require experience and time. while moral virtue comes about as a result of habit. So, ang kanang intellectual virtue, which is kanang ato gayeng nag-gain through teaching or time and experience. So, while ang moral virtue is kanang which is developed through kanang nahabit na jud nato ba by repeating good actions until they become part of our character. Kanang kasuway na mo anak kanang for example kanang katong ako kay nakasuy na ko ani kaning pagkabata na ako kay kanagaling gate kay ako jud ana-anaon kay di ba mo tingog man na siya, so kanang murag sa sige na kog kanang ana-ana na kay kanang murag na kuan nagalit na ako ay murag nahabit na nako nga sige kog kanang si tawag ano ay kanang ako gikuan-kuan ang katong kahoy kay para lang mo tingog ang katong sa gate niya. Kasoy mo na kanang kuan ay kanang nahabit na ninyo ba through kanang nahabit na jud ninyo nga kanang murag gibalik-balik na ninyo nga kanang nga action niya until nga kanang na part na nato sa ato ang kuan good character. Like that ba? Mao na ang pasabot sa moral virtue. So next slide. The onward progress of science and technology is also the movement towards in the good life. Science and technology are one of the highest expressions of human faculties. They allow us to thrive and flourish in life if we desire it. Science and technology may also corrupt a person, but grounding oneself in virtue will help him or herself steer clear of danger. So, syempre guys, ang science and technology ang science and technology usap pud siya ka importante sa jud in pursuing the good life. It's because science and technology they show kanang the highest capabilities of humans, and also it helps us live better, but they can also kanang corrupt us if na misuse nata. So that's why si Aristotle nag-remind siya nga ang kanang virtue must guide giunsa nato paggamit jud ang science and technology, so that they serve humanity instead of harming it. So next is I will share my insight about that Sugar film 2014 and how the overproduction and overconsumption of sugar can prevent us from reaching what Aristotle calls the good life or eudaimonia. So next slide, introduction to the film. So anyways guys, so this is Damon Gameo that picture that I presented, that is Damon Gameo, directed by Damon Gameo, where he consumes 40 teaspoons of sugar daily for 60 days from healthy market foods. So during the experiment, Gameo gained weight, developed fatty liver, and experienced mood swings and fatigue. Demonstration the adverse health impacts of hidden added sugars. The film highlights how the food industry deceptively uses processed foods and sugars to influence eating habits and promotes critical evaluation of foods label. So, pasabot ani guys kay ang kaning jud nga film kay gidirect ni Damon Gameo. So, si Damon Gameo nag-experiment ni siya nga mukaon siya og 40 teaspoon of sugar every day for 60 days. Pero dili gikan sa kanang candy or soft drinks, kundi gikan sa mga pagkaon nga gi-market as healthy food. So gikan sa market foods ang kanang iyang kuan nga kanang sugar ang iyang kaon. So mao to kanang one day iyahang lawas kay nagbag-o ni dako iyahang timbang. Syempre kay ning kao masig tamis ra ba ng sugar. So nagka fatty liver siya og nagka-experiment siya og mood swings og kakapoy. So dinha nato makita usa ka kanang so diha na nato makita og unsa kadelikado ang hidden sugars nga naa sa processed foods nga wala nato nahibaw-an. So ang pinakapunto sa film kay klaro na kaayo ang food industry usahay manipulative kay gitago nila ang tinuod nga sugar content aron kanang mapadayon gali ang pagpalit para mapadayon na to nga magpalitaan nga kana ilahang item or kana nga pagkaon mao nga importante gud nga magtan-aw ta og levels og mga critical sa ato ang gikaon. So mana siya pasabot. So kanang so lesson ani nga so ang lesson ani nga film kay simple ra pero dako og impact. So we need to be mindful sa ato ang pagkaon aron malikayan nato ang sakit og unhealthy lifestyle. So mana siya. So next slide. Aristotle eudaimonia. Aristotle said the goal of life is eudaimonia or human flourishing. This does not mean chasing pleasure all the time, but living in balance, practicing self-control, and making wise choices. So to live the good life, we need to avoid harmful excess. So para ni kanang Aristotle, ang pinaka-goal sa kinabuhi kay ang eudaimonia, which means human flourishing or the good life. Pero dili pasabot nga sigilan ta og pangita og kanang pleasure or kalipay. Instead nga ang tinuod nga good life kay makita gali nato nga kanang makita gali nato kung naa ta sa balance or nagpractice og self-control og kanang naghimo og wise choices. So kung gusto ta mo abot sa eudaimonia, dapat i-avoid nato ang sobra, like sobra nga kaon, sobra nga inom or bisan sobra sa pag-indulge sa kalipay kay kung sobra mahimo na siyang harmful. Di ba kung masubraan na jud kay ta kay mahimo jud siyang harmful, guys, o dili na makatabang sa ato ang pag-grow as good human beings. So in short, eudaimonia is about kanang living with balance and virtue. Mao na siya. So dili lang chasing pleasures, pero living wisely para ma-achieve nato ang real happiness og flourishing. So mao na pasabot ni kanang Aristotle sa Aristotle said the goal of life is eudaimonia. So next slide, the problem of overproduction and overconsumption. Industries produce too much sugar and add it to most foods because it's cheap and everywhere. People consume more than they realize. This leads to serious health problems. Instead of helping people flourish, industries focus on profit. So, ang pasabot ani guys, ang problema sa overproduction o overconsumption kay daghan kayo usig sugar nga giproduce sa mga industries. So, tungod kay barato og sayon ra halo sa sa kana nga item or kana nga pagkaon, gibutang nila halos sa tanan pagkaon. So, resulta ani ang mga tawo nakakonsume og mas daghan og sugar kaysa sa ilahang kanang nahibaw-an. Pero ang epekto ang epekto jud ani dili jud siya maayo. Dili siya maayo, guys, kay makadala siya og grabe nga health problems like obesity, diabetes og sakit sa atay. Kay syempre kanang maka kuanday gyapon sa ato ang health, di ba? Dili man na maayo pud sa ato ang kagalingon nga magpalabi sa good ta. So instead nga ang industry nga mutabang sa mga tao nga ma-achieve ang flourishing or good life, mas giuna nila ang profit kaysa health consumers. So in short, ang sobra nga production o consumption sa sugar kay obstacle sa ato ang eudaimonia, kay dili siya naghatag og true well-being kundi naghatag siya og sakit. Mao na ang pasabot. So next slide, barriers to the good life. Eating too much sugar causes obesity, diabetes, mood swings, and even cravings like addiction. So it harms our bodies and weakens our ability to think and chose well. Instead of focusing on long-term well-being, many chase short-term pleasure. This is opposite of Aristotle's idea of the good life. So, ang pasabot aning the barriers to the good life, guys, kay makita ni nato kung magsige tagkaon og kanang sobra nga sugar. Kay ang resulta ani, syempre diabetes unta, samot nagnamoy kaliwat ka diabetes jud ka. So syempre maka resulta pud di siya sa as obesity, mood swings, samot ka nang mag-crave ka nga kanang murag na addict na kaana nga kanang kuan ba pagkaon ba aw kasoy ko ana murag na addict ko sa pagkaon kay tungod na sa sugar, guys, nga nanubraan og butang. So dili lang ang lawas na to ang maapektuhan, apil po ay ato ang mind nga mawik ang ato ang ability to think clearly and to choose wisely. So instead of focusing on long-term well-being, daghan kaayog mga tao nga kanang mas gipili nila ang short-term pleasure. Like tamis nga pagkaon, kasagaran hinuon sad kung dapat lang sa jud kanang imo sa jud kanang control imong kagalingon. Pero ang kani nga mindset kay kanang opposite siya. Opposite para kang Aristotle man jud kay kanang opposite siya as a good life. Kay para man gud niya ang good life kay dili lang pleasure, kundi pagbalanse nimo, dapat imo sa good i-control. So imo sad i-discipline og wise living para ma-achieve ang tinuod nga happiness. Mana ang kang Aristotle. So next slide, regulation and responsibility. To move towards eudaimonia, both industries and individual must take action. Industries should regulate sugar levels, put clear labels, and promote healthier foods. Consumers should practice moderation, read labels, and make wise choices. Together, both sides can help society live better. So, ang pasabot sa regulation and responsibility, guys, kayo, para makamove on ta towards eudaimonia or the good life, kinahanglan both industries o individual kay naa-adyo action. Kay sa side industries, dapat i-regulate nila ang sugar levels. So magbutang sila og klaro nga labels og i-promote ang healthier foods. Dili lang kay puro profit ilang huna-huna, kundi i-appeal pod ang well-being sa consumers. Kay sa side sa consumers, kay kita mismo kinahanglan mag-practice og moderation. Magbasa jud ta sa food labels og maghimo og wise choices. So dapat sa jud kita sa mga consumers, guys. So dapat sad mag-practice pud tag kanang pagbasa-basa og kanang mga food labels kay para kuan sad. So magtinabangay kung magtinabangay ang ang industries and consumers, kay mas posible nga ang society nato maka-achieve og better life og kanang mas duol sa idea ni Aristotle nga eudaimonia. Goods. So lastly, the conclusion. So to conclude, overproduction and overconsumption of sugar stop us from achieving the good life because they harm our health and balance. Yes, there is a need of regulation and moderation. If industries and consumers work together, we can move closer to eudaimonia or true human flourishing. So in summary, ang sobra nga production and consumption nga sugar kay dili lang makatabang sa ato ang good life. Instead nga naghatag siya og sakit or imbalance og short-term pleasure nga maka-distract sa tinuod nga happiness. So that's why importante kaayo ang regulation, guys, gikan sa industries and responsibility sa consumers. Kung duha ka sides magtinabangay, mas dali nato maabot ang eudaimonia, ang tinuod nga flourishing og healthy nga kinabuhi. That's all.